Hello! Today I'm going to tell the story about how me, my mom and Hikes almost got kidnapped in Russia by a crazy taxi driver. So it all started in St. Petersburg when we were there on a vacation, and basically we had just landed, checked into the hotel, and then we were going to go to the train station to pick up Hikes. So on the way to the train station it was no problem. The hotel over here, the Golden Triangle, they ordered a taxi for us, and it was super easy. We just went from the hotel down to the main road, followed the main road, and then we arrive at the train station, the Vokzal, which is the train station where we met Hikes. So now, this is where we met Hikes. You can see in my video when I go to Russia. It's got these wooden doors and these pillars, and that's actually because it's right over here in front of the train station. So sadly, because we got off the first taxi, we had to look for a new taxi, and this time it was me, Hikes, and my mom, and as you can see, it was dark outside. It was kinda late, so there weren't really any taxis here in front. You can see here, there are a ton of taxis in this picture, but that's because it's daytime, and probably not in December. So we had no chance of finding a taxi that looked like this, that looked like a taxi. We didn't even find a taxi that looked like this, which looks like a kinda shitty taxi. No, it was basically all empty over here, so we had to find a taxi, and we were like, how are we gonna do that? So what we did was, we went from the middle here and started looking for a taxi. So we ended up going to the right here, all the way over there. Where we found the taxi is basically where this car is standing right now, and I can tell you, the car did not look as nice as this one. Now, me and Hikes tried to remember what car it was, but we couldn't. But we decided it was either one of these. I think it kind of looked like this. It's called a Lada Samara. It looks like shit. And Hikes thought more it was kind of like this. But you get the picture. It was a shitty Russian car where if you crash, you're going to die, no matter what. And the taxi was completely unmarked. Like, you couldn't see that it was a taxi. It probably wasn't a taxi. It was just some guy who wanted to take us for a ride. Like, it didn't say taxi anywhere on his car. He didn't have that thing on top, which taxi drivers have. There was nothing. So, I'm not even sure he was a taxi driver. So at least now we're in the taxi, you know, we're driving along. It's going pretty well. It's me and Hikes in the back seat and my mom in the front seat. And we're just driving along, you know, and everything is going perfect. Well, that's until we reach probably this point over here after like 500 meters or so. Then the Russian taxi driver, who looks like this, by the way, I drew a picture of it just so you get an idea. He looked like this, basically. He had a flat cap on. He had the thickest eyebrow and mustache I've ever seen, and only gold teeth. Not a single regular tooth, only gold teeth. He could have been a rapper. So the taxi driver that looks like this, he goes past like a statue or a monument, and he starts talking about Russia. And this man really loved Russia. He kept saying that it's the best country, and he kept saying that his car, it was so good, even though, I mean, it didn't look very good. And he kept going on about how Russia is self-made, they don't need no other countries, and that he'd been driving this car for like 20 years, and he said he could afford all of this and live the good Russian life because of Vladimir Putin. So he kept saying, Хорошая машина, Vladimir Putin, which means like good car, Vladimir Putin. Very nice. He said that probably like 50 times during the whole trip. And once we got over here to the monument here, because we were driving over here, so he saw it from the car, he kept pointing out, you know, Russia, self-made, Russia, number one, Russia, self-made, number one! And now the problems really didn't stop there, because in this shitty circle that I've made is our hotel. So, you see, we're driving on this main road, we should just be driving over here, and then turn in, you know? But we didn't. He went way too far, and we were like, yo, mister, could you please stop? And he was like, Russia #1! And we keep going. I'm pretty sure we go over this bridge, which is like, it's a way too far. And I was a little worried, and Hikes was telling him in Russian, like, what are you doing? Let us go. And my mom was kind of visibly worried. And so this road, you can see it, it's kind of a highway. You can see there's 3 lanes in each direction. That's a big road. So this is where we're supposed to have turned in, but he kept going in this direction all the way across this bridge somewhere, and we were like, no, you need to go back. And we were thinking, you know, he's gonna keep going on the road, he's gonna get a roundabout, go back, and then turn in, but no. That's not how you do it in Russia. My man just literally starts reversing on this highway back into traffic, and people are honking. He's doing it at least in this like side lane, but he's reversing on the highway. He's going backwards on the highway. What the fuck? We get to probably, I think it was right around this point where the bridge was, and he saw a police car, and he just turned into and pretend to be parking, and he was like, no, don't leave the car, don't going, because, I mean, obviously he'd go to jail. He's backing on the highway, and he's got 3 foreign hostages in his car. All this time he keeps going on about, you know, how Russia is self-made, how it's #1, and, I mean, Russia, it was a nice trip. And this guy, I think he just really loved his country. So we asked him if we couldn't walk, and he said, no, taxi driver, Russia #1, I take you to the hotel. And we were like, okay, I guess. I mean, it's like we're either gonna get to the hotel without having to walk, which is nice, or we're gonna get kidnapped and possibly eaten by this man. So after he's reversed all of this way through traffic, dodging cars like a maniac, we get back to here, and he takes us into this road where our hotel is. He keeps going over here, and finally we end up here where our hotel is. And, you know, we're just going to get out of the car. It's very nice. And then, see, my mom is in the front seat. And the Russian man, who, if you forgot, looked like this. Before we leave, he tells my mom that Russia #1, and then he takes her hand, kisses it, and says goodbye. And we were all like, what the fuck is happening? But then, thankfully, he let us go. No ransom whatsoever. And overall now, a year or 2 after, we've realized that taxi driver, he was legit. I think he didn't maybe try to kidnap us, but he was very funny, and he loved his country. But if we learned anything from this adventure, I think it is that if you're in Russia, you should always take unmarked Lada taxis, and if you get kidnapped, don't panic, and also Russia #1!